What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here and being subbed. If you're not, hit the button, and if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this holy mess.
Stand right in front of the congregation. Yeah, right in front of you. Don't touch that table.
I want to apologize to everybody in here because I am pregnant. I'm sorry, y'all. And I just hope that y'all all forgive me and keep praying for me.
Ain't no baby showers going on. That's what you lose out at. When you have a baby out of wedlock, ain't no baby showers.
You know, I'm quite sure that every religion has its issues. I don't know about all the issues in every religion. But when it comes to these churches with these Christians, there's too many hypocrites and people that do a lot of foolishness that get so much attention, where it really makes a lot of people that claim the label or try to operate in the life of a Christian look bad. I am disgusted, and I wanted to cry when I saw this video of this young lady. I really could feel her nervousness, her anxiousness, her shame, which she shouldn't feel any of those things. Definitely, I get it. Being pregnant and young, you feel nervous. I've been there, done that, and actually a lot of us have been there and done that. And because of what they did to this young lady, and because of the existence of cell phone videos and social media now, even though this church might be old school, I'm quite sure they weren't ready for the backlash that they were going to receive by putting this girl on Front Street like that, having her, I mean, when I saw this young lady, and if you look at the video and you see the older women in the church sitting there, she looked like one of them. She just was not their age. So they have her cloaked in this look of being, I don't know, homely and whatever. And none of that stuff has anything to do with being a believer in God and Christ and living a so-called holy and godly lifestyle. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad that my mind is free and I'm not wrapped up in those things. I've been there being a young person, pregnant once. It happened once in my lifetime. And I thank God that I never had to deal with anything like that, because you already are feeling like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. What am I going to do? You're nervous. You're fearful. You already have all of those normal feelings that you're going to deal with being a young person pregnant, but then you have to deal with the scorn and the shame and the judgment of all these old people that probably have done more than that, or I don't even want to say worse, because I'm not even going to say that that's like a bad thing. Let's be clear. The majority of people who are in that church were probably, what they say, fornicating, okay? Probably doing it right now. So to have her come in front of the church to apologize to them, what does she owe them an apology for? That's her life. She's going to have to deal with the choices that she made, the decisions that she made, and having to raise a child. That alone is already stressful and hard. So to have to come and apologize to people, and these people don't have anything to do with her personal life. Are they going to be raising a child? Is it like, I'm apologizing to you because I'm pregnant and I'm about to have a baby that you all are going to have to take care of? That's crazy. But what I was going to say is the majority of people, especially these people in these churches, are not planning families Let's just be honest about it. A lot of these people have had shotgun weddings. They wound up getting pregnant. The family forced the guy to marry them or whatever, if they indeed did get married. Sometimes they have had terminations on the low. Sometimes they've had babies and they've given the babies away to family members or given them away for adoption. There's all sorts of things that have happened in these churches when it comes to these young ladies that wind up getting pregnant. But the thing that just really made me sad and my heart go out to her was them putting her in front of these people to judge her, to apologize to them about something that they have absolutely nothing to do with. Where's the guy that got her pregnant? Because I've never known of a female to get pregnant without a sperm cell impregnating and penetrating that egg to create a baby. And Mary, all of the things when it comes to the Bible, it's so funny to me that these people have, like this young lady, coming in front of the church to apologize, but yet Mary was an unwed mother, all right? And I know they're going to try to make a justification to say, oh, well, she knew no man. It was an immaculate conception. She got pregnant by the Holy Spirit. Joseph didn't get her pregnant, blah, 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 blah. Well, I just feel like that is the first example that we know of an unwed mother. Okay? And two, these people claim to be Christians, but yet they don't take examples from the word of God themselves. What happened when all of those men brought this woman that they say was caught in the very act of adultery? So you know what that means, right? They caught her doing the do, but she was doing the do with a man. She wasn't doing the do by herself. They grabbed the woman while she was in the act, grabbed her out of it to bring her before Jesus to tell her what the law says. So what do you say we should do? And Jesus didn't even look up at them. He didn't even dignify them with a glance. The Bible says he was writing something in the sand. He continued to look down. He didn't even look at them. And he said, okay, well, he that's without sin cast the first stone. Because they were saying that the law says that a woman that is caught in an act of adultery, she is to be stoned. So he said, all right, do it. But if you all are without those sins, then you go ahead, pick up the first stone and get to casting. And they all walked away. Nobody casted one stone. And then Jesus looked up at her. So if you know the story of the Bible, he didn't even give them a glance. But when they went away, he looked at her. So Jesus didn't even give these losers the time of day by giving them a glance from his eyes. But he looked upon the woman. And then he said, where are your accusers? And she said, there are none. And he said, neither will I accuse you. Go. And he said, sin no more. So I'm just saying that to say they don't even follow the examples from the Bible. They have this woman coming before the church to apologize to them for something that she did. And she wound up doing what naturally happens when you have sex. You get pregnant. And most of these people that are up in there were doing the same thing that this young woman was doing. They just either went through the same similar situations or they didn't get caught. But lo and behold, she was not standing up there with the guy. So the guy was either some maybe possibly older guy that's up in the church, maybe a younger guy of, the son of one of the women in the church, or it's some boy who doesn't even go to the church. All right. I hope and pray that she can become free from that, because that is so cult-like to see this happening. It's like she's trapped in this. And I would love for her to be free from this, and being free, because that's bondage, to be freed from that so that she can really learn who she truly is and living a life that's not in these cults, in this cult-like atmosphere, and these rituals that don't have anything to do with God, will really serve her well, because She probably has zero self-esteem. She probably is feeling like her life is over. What am I going to do? I messed up. I made God angry. You're going to go to hell. All the other stuff that people like to say in these churches. And none of that stuff has anything to do with God. It's just a shame actually before God, if we want to be honest about it. But the men in these churches and the women that follow them, it's disgusting. I just I'm hurting for her. Now, I've heard that there's been like a huge backlash, and a lot of people have been, saying they're going to come to the church and protest and whatever. And the family of the young, I believe, because they said that the statement was supposed to be the young girl's statement saying she doesn't need anything, I'm fine or whatever. But I don't believe that she wrote that statement. I believe the family of that young lady wrote that because they don't want to be bothered and they don't like the backlash that they're receiving. But I'm going to see, what happens with this. And I'm going to continue to follow the story as it becomes available, because this just really made me angry. I talked about Gigi and so-called prophet Lovy Elias before, and how she was putting him on blast. And I saw the receipts that she shared. I wasn't going to do a separate video talking about just those receipts, because I have no doubt that he was assisting her financially, and she's pretty much just trying to respond to the backlash that she has been receiving by way of fakes and frauds like Larry Reed and his community of followers, because they're all up the so-called prophet Lovy Elias's butt crack. But the reason why I'm just even mentioning this again is because it goes back to the men in these churches and how they're treated differently than women and the women that follow them. It will happen until the end of time. If you look at the history of these cults, past and present, a large sect of these groups are women. Women tend to be more easily manipulated than men do. And a lot of the men that are involved in these are because a lot of times it is beneficial to them for them to be in these groups, or they may have gone through some trauma in their lives and they were looking for something and they feel like they found it in these cults. But you have cults where the leaders that are men are controlling these people even from behind bars. There is this cult called the FLDS, and it's a sect, large sect, but it's a sect of the Mormons. And these people are bat crap crazy. I've watched the show that used to come on before that was called Escaping Polygamy. They're big on polygamy, right? But the leader, Warren Jeffs is his name. He's serving life in prison, okay? And he is controlling these people from behind bars. Thousands of them. The control of the mind is something real. So when I see people who follow people like Larry Reed, who wishes he could be like a Warren Jeffs, right? But maybe not in prison, but to have that type of control and have that many people actually listening to him, following him and giving him money and all of that stuff. The women that follow people like this, people wonder, well, why is it? Why would they listen to somebody like that? Why would they follow somebody like that? Why would they give them their money? Because they're lacking something internally and their mind just ain't right. This attacking of this woman who decided to share her story, and people giving excuses for this dude to say, well, he wasn't married when he was with her or whatever. I don't know if he was married with her for the whole time, a short portion of the time, a large portion of the time. It doesn't matter. To me, the lifestyle that this person was living behind the scenes versus what they were trying to portray that they were living in front of the scenes to get people to believe that they're an actual prophet is the thing that pisses me off. Because a lot of these people, like I said, they ain't nothing but a bunch of frauds, and they get people so wrapped up in this cult-like personality. I do believe that the majority of these people who wind up becoming so-called leaders like this, they do have a mental deficiency called narcissism. It takes that, I believe, in order for them to even have the gall and the audacity to use the name of God to be this person that they claim to be and garner all of the attention, say all of the things that they say, lie on God like that to say God is telling them this and God said this and God said that, and they ain't nothing but a bunch of liars. It takes having that mental deficiency called narcissism in order to operate in that way. Even if there's measures of narcissism, so they're not all malignant narcissists. Some have larger spectrums of it than others, but this situation to attack this woman because she chose to come out and share her story, you know, a lot of the women who are attacking her, the reason they're doing it is because they're jealous. They're followers of him, and they look at her and they see, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I'm not saying just because she looks a certain type of way that she's beautiful to everyone. But let's be clear. When she exposed him and she started coming out and saying how she got connected with him, he was seeing her as pleasing to his eyesight. All right. There was nothing godly about the connection that he felt like with her. That was all the flesh. Okay. He looked at her and he was like, "You got the look. You got the look. Sure enough could be cooking in my book. Your face is slamming." I mean, he was looking at her and seeing her outer appearance. He got tempted. He slid in those DMs and, you know, wound up getting connected with her, and bam, he got her. And he reeled her in with the money and the gifts and taking care of her and all that stuff, the trips and whatever, living the lifestyle. She was enjoying it, no doubt. I'm not saying that she wasn't, but she said that she was in a 3-year relationship with him, but she is basically alluding to the fact that he strung her along. He was lying to her, and he was using God as a manipulation tool and tactic to keep her hooked. And that, dear friends, is the problem. Like, are you freaking kidding me? These people that want to follow him and claim that he's some man of God or whatever, he used God for his own purposes. That had nothing to do with God. So for people to try to make excuses for him, to say, oh, well, he was single and he was a single man and he could do what he wanted. No. You claim to so-called be a leader of God and this prophet or whatever, then no, you're supposed to be living differently. You're supposed to be operating differently. And I do believe that there are some like real people out there that really do want to follow and serve and worship God and do his will that are not popular. They don't live lives like this. A lot of these people, they really didn't have it like that before, so they have been able to amass this following on social media, and it's given them like a small sense of celebrity, and they're loving the feeling of it. But I don't believe it has anything to do with God. I believe that for the majority of these people like him, Larry Reed, Marcus Rogers, Tiffany Montgomery, just to name a few, a lot of these so-called prophets and people that they have so many followers, what you're doing, it's for yourself. It's for your money. It's for your name and for your so-called fame. It has nothing to do with God. Because a lot of the things when it comes to true followers of God, a lot of the things that they are saying and sharing are not popular. It's not what people want to hear. And they're not going to have a whole big following of people following them. That's just the truth. So for people to attack Gigi, and the majority of the attackers are women, it stems from jealousy. They wish they could be in that position. It stems from jealousy, or it's a sense of idolization of this figure that they don't want to see disparaged. So how dare you come out and talk about my man of God? How dare you talk about the prophet? You know you wasn't right. You open your legs to that man and whatever else, they might say. I'm not saying that I've seen any comments like that, but I'm just saying the gist of the mindset of people that would come out and attack her for sharing her story is crazy. But again, it stems from jealousy. A lot of those females are jealous. They see her, they see what she was able to get, and they would have loved to be in the same position. So it's either that or they idolize this man because he is nothing but a mere man. They idolize him and they don't want to see anybody coming out to try to destroy their king, their God, their idol. So the way these churches deal with these guys versus the women is sad. So I really want to know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.